Let's continue with books from my other library stash at my parents' house, and here are the science books I read before I left earlier. The Lives of a Cell by Lewis Thomas. He is this genius science writer that writes these very short pieces that are just some of the best things ever done. This book itself won the National Book Award. This is his classic. This is the thing to start with by him. But it is wonderful writing, very mystical in a sense about what science is and what matters. He also has The Medusa and the Snail, which is a great book. More notes of Biology Watcher. I would also recommend A Whale for the Killing. This is a terrible book. This guy is a famous nature writer, and he talks about this whale that got trapped in a fin whale that got trapped in Newfoundland, and the story of what happened to the people who found that whale and the people who tried to save it versus people who were just taking pot shots at it with rifles for weeks on end. It's terrible, terrible book. Humans are awful. And, amazing, but mostly awful. You also have Headstrong by Rachel Swaby. This is a great book about women who changed science. So a lot of this has ended up on the history wall. So here's another Lewis Thomas book. This one's The Youngest Science, and this is about the science of medicine, because medicine is the youngest science. And he himself is an MD, which is part of the reason I like him. So this is a great book on the history, the short history of medicine. Blink by Malcolm Gladwell. Probably don't need to explain that one too much. People know him. Genome by Matt Ridley. Matt Ridley is a great science writer. Just really makes things very explainable. This is a bit of an old book, but, it's still as up to date as most of us are going to need for what the genome is and where it came from. And he writes it in 23 chapters for each of the chromosomes in a human, which is a very clever way to do it. Very well-written book. This is Three Men on the Beagle. This is a great book about Darwin's trip, as well as the Papua New Guineans that they brought back to England, which is a terrible part of the story. A really important book is Lynn Margulis. This is the Lynn Margulis book by her son Dorian Sagan. Dorian Sagan is their son with her son with Carl, and he is a great science writer. This is his book about his mom, who helped to pioneer the Gaia theory that the entire planet is one great thinking organism. Should I get through the rest? Jane Goodall's autobiography, wonderful piece of work, always worth reading. Varmus, The Art and Politics of Science. He used to head the NIH, so if you're interested in science funding, this is a great memoir. And don't care about that one. And the last one, just enough time, is Lagoon, about Aristotle. Really well-written book by this guy, Leroy. So that's who I'd recommend if you want to learn a great book about Aristotle.